We are in for the second game of our first match, premiere match of Season 40 of RTS League's Age of Empires through the Conquerors Clan League. And this is going to be the home map of Clan Colombia, and it's... it is islands. These definitely are islands, so let's just know the go for us. It's kind of useless on this map, and, well, we are in for a very different game than the Arabia that we have seen in the first one. Let's just make sure that we are not going to be spoiled by anything in the chat. And let's have a look around. So far we are looking at Marco. The civilizations are going to be also, everybody's playing something else, but they are going to be mirror teams. So Hans, Vikings, Japanese for both of the teams, and that definitely should mean the Japanese will be, or rather they usually are, fast castling, whereas Vikings are galley rushing. And well, Hans, kinda depends what the teams want to do. Who is going to be in the pocket? So for NHN, Marco, Riep, Blue, and okay, so it's going to be Riep in the pocket. That is Japanese. Oh, that's very nice for them. That's definitely going to be fast castle from the Japanese player, as they are having pretty good fishing boats, whereas for the opponent, that's red, purple, and green. That's going to be purple, that's going to be Hans in the pocket. So I'm kind of curious to see if it's going to be really the Japanese for CLBs as well, advancing faster into the castle age, or if it's going to be just the pocket player. Well, I wouldn't be surprised all that much if actually both went. But you're going to be seeing what the strategy is, because it is the home map of CLB, so you would be definitely expecting some special strategy from them, or having something thought up that they think is going to be surprising their opponents. Otherwise, we are looking, for example, at the purple island. Is having pretty decent amount, or rather positioning of the gold mine and of the stone mine, so it's basically very far away from the water, both of them. It shouldn't be all that much of a problem for him to gather from. Even though this is kind of suckily position, it's going to be hard to gather from, basically just from the right side. But he should be working through these forests before that is needed, before the gold mine on the left is actually out. And that should mean that he will be pretty much alright when the time comes. The red player is having, it seems like, pretty much similar placement. Potentially a bit of a problem with the stone that definitely could be in the range. And where's the second gold mine that is definitely in the range. So yeah, he might actually be having problems with that. And he is Viking. Well, it doesn't really matter for him all that much. But still, on water you usually want to place some tactical castles once the game goes into the late game, which it definitely should between those very equally skilled teams, as we have seen in the first game. So yep, even the stone might be coming into play for the castle building. And of course for some extra town centers, potentially, if they want to. Going to be aggressive dock. So Zion definitely not afraid of it. He's going to be fighting against Marcos, so that's Hans and Vikings, so definitely a bonus for the Viking, but he is of course not being afraid at all either. But they are kind of funnily having absolutely nothing in between them. They are having a pretty decent amount of shorefish in here, at least one deep fish. That's pretty much it. So this dock placement is actually pretty bad, especially for Zion, and he would definitely be hoping that he can place the dock a bit more to the south, because he's having at least 2 deep fish, and otherwise, really, his island is not great, and the only good fishing spot is on the left corner at the back, and I'm fairly certain he doesn't want to develop there at all, because he's Viking, and he has already committed to be aggressive in this game. Top corner is also kinda sucky. There's some shorefish, but really, low amount of deep fish. This is not bad, but this is more like for actually the teal player. So this is actually going to be quite funny. No fishes in here. And let's see who is going to be having a bit more fun in there. Teal already discovered that he's going to be fighting against the blue one, as we are looking into the luring of the boar of the blue player, and pretty decent position of the gold mine, whereas the other gold mine is even safer, and stones are pretty much fine as well. So yeah, pretty much nice placement for him. And where is his dock? In the front. In the front. So, oh man, this is actually looking like that the Hell Hunters, the new Hell Hunters, are feeling very comfortable on this map. And they're actually thinking they might be closing it soon. And it's almost looking like that they will be actually something like triple galley rushing. Usually, when you are going fast castle as a pocket, you go for the dock into corner. Especially Japanese, it makes a whole lot of sense, because if you're established in here, you are just having so many fishies. You can see how many of those he does have in here. That is actually a huge bonus, and much better to build to the back, but he isn't, which might be signaling that he is much more interested in really galley rushing a fast abuse on the water. So that would be really curious, and definitely following suit is Sobek, who is also going for aggressive build-up. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. Actually, triple galley rush by the new Hell Hunters. Let's see. Marco Sobek advancing into field, the same as Zion. Green is going for defensive dock into the back, and he is Japanese, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. The Japanese usually go for fast castle and go for the back fishies so that they are safer. In the meantime, back dock also for MPD in the pocket, which also makes sense as the pocket so that he can slightly better boom. And this is looking a bit scary right now for CLBs, to be honest, because they might be surprised by a whole lot more aggression than they're actually hoping for. And Blue is just continuing in here, as even though he is not advancing yet, so he is probably going to be fast castling also. He's definitely aiming there with the villagers. It might be something not all that defensive, but it's definitely looking like two galley rushes with one fast castle against one galley rush against two fast castles. So basically, brunt of the early fighting is going to be all on Zion. All on Zion, with Gamin being behind him. And Riep advancing as well, so that's probably both Japanese, right? Both Japanese advancing at the same amount of villages. More fishing boats for Riep, so he's going to be having slightly better boom. And Red advancing a bit more to the south, which of course makes sense, because we have seen there are a lot more fishies in there. I'm not exactly sure if he actually knows about them. No, he doesn't, so that was just a lucky guess. That was just a lucky guess for him. Second dog from the Viking in the front, of course, as he's going to be attempting to harass his opponent as much as he can. Let's finish, for example, with the resource placement. This is, yet again, similar kind of sake as we have seen for the red player, but he is really working on this tree line, so he might be getting there in time just as well. His stone is going to be targetable from the water, the second one no, and this gold is pretty much fine, so really, he shouldn't be having any kind of problems at all. Same can be said about Gamin. With his gold and stone, that seems to be pretty good, pretty well positioned. Second gold also, and the second stone is where in the back, definitely reachable from the water from the top, potentially from the bottom as well in the next stages. But yeah, at least the gold mine or other stone mines on the right are pretty much fine, as he's building with his docks, and we are looking at the first engagement on the right, where unfortunately for Zion, his opponent Marco is having a few more boats than he is. But that's going to be turning around pretty soon. But not before, he already lost one of the fishing boats. That's 3-4, that's going to be equal, but right now the extra one is going to be in there. But unfortunately, with all the extra damage that actually the red boats are already having, might not be all that easy fight for them, because Marco seems to be doing a pretty good job with the defense and microing, but still, he needs to be paying a whole lot more attention if he doesn't want to lose in this very micro-intensive battle, which galley rushing at the very start always are. So this is going to be basically equal fighting in here for the time being, before the advantage of the cheaper boats from Zion actually kicks in into the bigger numbers. But at the bottom, basically the same is going to be true for the opposing side. And even though Gamin is not really going for the clear fast castle, as he's already going for few galleys, he's to be getting help from his yellow teammate, or rather, that's still his opponent. Actually having already double flanks in here. That might be really not ideal for the green player, but might be kinda okay. He is close by to advance into the next age. BG unfortunately isn't for him. So he was just going for faster advance into the next age. Rather, not faster advance, better economy. But faster advance in the castle age is not on his menu. He's going to be attempting to build galleys and basically help his teammate, who is probably going to be fast castling. As Yep is going faster into castle, and MPD is just now clicking in. So yep, only the pockets are going to fast castle, but it's looking like that it's going to be ending much better for the new Hell Hunters. PD already helping in the middle to his teammate Gamin to get rid of Sobek. Whereas at the top, the battlefield is not really moving anywhere, which is kinda to be expected, because of course, these players are in a deadlock, and they are so far able to supply basically the same amount of boats. Well, looking at the islands, for example, for the late game, I'm definitely liking this one for the long trade route if you can get rid of all of these woods. That's really pretty decent one for trade. It wouldn't be bad at all. And looking for something different as we are in the interim between the battles, there is a very interesting island in the pocket. Literally in the middle of the map with 3 goals, and there's going to be a lot of fighting for this because this is very important not only for the gold, but for the amount of the wood line in there. Second island with double stone and gold, also very powerful one. but it's basically between CLB, so this should be considered CLB's island. Whereas for this one, there's going to be a lot of fighting to be had. Another island with a bit of stone and some wood. Might be interesting to fight for both Zion and the teal player, but probably not all that much as the ones at the bottom. So, just waiting, not doing anything, whereas on the left we are having a bit of an engagement as the Viking Sobek from the new Hell Hunters is having a bit of fun with the opponent CLB Gamin, who seems to be having a pretty good job with the microwave in here, especially because he is right next to his docks, which means much faster ability to replace the losses that he is suffering. And that of course results into Sobek having to retreat from this position. Wargali Botkin arrow coming from MPD. Riep is already ready with that or not? Yeah, he's already upgraded. And coming in for the fun, he already is having the fun. But with MPD being exactly in the correct place, he is aiming to wait for Wargalis and Botkin arrow from his teammate as well. And once that happens, they are probably going to be taking the full-on engagement and hoping for a bit more reinforcements from the Wargalis from the purple player. Yeah, Riep is now asking for a better micro from his ally. Water battles are all about that. And this battle, well, it's looking quite alrightish for CLBs. NHN definitely shouldn't have taken this. They are just right now going back, and well, it was exactly what I was talking about. The correct and nicely timed replacements of the losses were exactly what was needed for CLBs to take this battle, and they are even inching ahead in the score, and actually not by a small margin, or rather by a small margin, but looking at the best player, MPD in the pocket, 2200, whereas Riep is having just not even 2000, so that's really curious that he's so much better. In the meantime, at the bottom, the Japanese player is doing a pretty good job against Sobek. The Viking, but the Viking is already coming into Castle Age. That's actually pretty big. Gamin is going to be aiming for it just now, but it's still going to be like 2-3 minutes after. Sobek is already having his Castle Age, and that might really be tilting this battle quite convincingly into Yellow's favor. And let's see if it's going to be enough or not, because so far on the right we are looking at pretty good advantage of both Zion and MPD, and they are really quite intent on putting Marco as the opponent Viking out of the game. Yeah, definitely doing a pretty good job in that. But of course that's because the opponents are right now just biding their time and even thinking that fire shifts might be a good idea. It actually really might. And demo ship going to be hidden in there, I'm thinking. Somewhere, and they are going to be attempting to unleash hell on all the boats of the opponents. They are still quite nicely clumped, so definitely could be some kind of opportunity for them. He's definitely trying to hide the demo ship. You can see it. He's aiming for that. He's aiming for that, and just now asking if there's some kind of slinging. Not really all that much. Zion is slinging into MPD at least a bit, but that probably isn't anything all that big, because he needs to continue building boats as a Viking, and he cannot spare any kind of resources. Yeah, the boats are in here, and hopefully for CLBs they have noticed that there is a bit of a battle plan brewing for the opponents, whereas at the bottom we are looking at, of course, the advantage of Sobek just basically owning Gamin, and Gamin is right now trying to save as many boats as possible, as he's also aiming for the Castle Age, as is NHN Marco and CLB Zion. Going to be in the Castle Age just now, clicking into War Galleys and such. Sobek is having a bit of fun with the rocks, but he's having a pretty huge attack and pretty decent amount of boats overall, so he is definitely not making life very easy for his green opponent Gamin. In the meantime, at the top, it seems like the CLBs are advancing forward, as they are really feeling comfortable in their battlefields and hoping that they can actually put their opponents out of economy. And this actually might be coming back at Riep, because he isn't ready for gathering fishies from the back, and that's exactly what he needs if he is not allowed to gather sheep, rather fish, in the front, which is exactly what is happening right now for him. He's not basically having all that much when economy, just now moving in there, into the very back. He's having at least one dock in here in the corner, so it's not going to be as tragic as it potentially could have been, but still, suboptimal quite a lot, and he might really be paying for that. Let's see. Let us see if CLBs are going to be taking advantage of that. Yellow advancing in here as ballistics are coming in for Gamin, and he's going to be basically coming back into the fight. He does have Doc at the back, just no rebuild, so he should be reasonably fine, but still it's going to be a pretty tough fight, and definitely a bit of a help could be quite welcome for him, as the army from Sobek is getting bigger, and it's not going to be getting smaller very fast, even with the very big numbers right now for Gamin. Ballistics also for Marco with cartography, ballistics for Zion, so that's going to be basically the theme of the next minutes. Getting the extra upgrades for the boaties. And we see a pretty big engagement between green and yellow, and it's really looking like that yellow should be having the advantage in the numbers. But we mustn't yet again forget that they are going to be coming fresh boats out of the docks. Just being built, and oh no, you can see, oh, that was horrible. Ha! He's been actually gathering points somewhere in here, and he basically didn't do anything with this one boat. Well, that was just a huge shame, and you can see really exactly just confirming what I said. Yellow is having a higher amount of boats, and the reinforcements, even if he is sending them all the way from home, they are in much better numbers and much faster, and it is definitely paying off for him, and it's really looking like that Gamin is in for a very bad time, and he will need help from his teammates if he is to somehow stay alive on the water and not take his teammates together with him to depths. On the right, Purple seems to be having a pretty recent army together with Zion. Are they coming somewhere into the middle? They definitely good. They do have enough army to deal with this. And interestingly enough, it's almost looking like that actually blue is not having all that many boats either. Yeah, it's looking like the CLBs on the right are definitely having the upper hand. And finally, Riap is recognizing that he needs to build docks at the back, so that he has slightly better economy, or a lot better economy on the water, and is a whole lot more efficient. Which, of course, efficiency leads into better chances at winning the game. CLB is the first one to come into Imperial Age, that's interesting. And very important for the next game, because if he can get the Galleons up significantly faster than his opponents, then even the lost water, or almost lost water, it's not really lost at all, yet, for Gamin, might be overcome, because of course the Galleons are much stronger, and really this is going to be yet again turning into a race for time, if CLBs can win on the right side, on the right hand faster, or if it's going to be Sobek on the left faster, dealing with Gamin, and potentially even NPD later on. Yeah, tough engagement for Gamin. He has lost pretty much everything, but he is actually rebuilding somewhere or not. He's still making boats, but he doesn't have all that many docks. He's building at least into the docks, so that's definitely correct for him. And he needs to wait for some better moment to actually eject them and have a pretty good game. Having a bit of problems in here. Assyria was having a bit of fun in an engagement that he actually wasn't hoping to do. Well, that was actually a pretty bad miscommunication on NHN parts in there, because apparently Riap thought that they should be engaging both of them with Marco, but Marco had a different idea, so he didn't engage, which resulted in Riap basically fighting 1 versus 2, which cost him a huge amount of boats. And right now he is in pretty deep trouble together with his whole team, and this might actually be one of the game changers in here, or game changers. It's not like CLBs weren't winning the water on the right, but that was quite costly. And of course, very low losses for CLBs. And yeah, right now Marco asking for help from Sobek, and I'm fairly certain that Sobek can spare at least a few units, because he is in a pretty good position against his opponent, and really, he can spare a lot of units into the middle. Yep, thinking, feeling strong. Not sure who it is actually aimed at, probably at Marco. Don't really think that it would be aimed at Sobek, because Sobek is doing a pretty good job against his opponents, as he's already moving into the pocket player, but the pocket player is in the Imperial Age, whereas Sobek is advancing just now, going to be having Galleons very soon. So I'm fairly certain that actually, even though Sobek has won the battle on the water against Gamin, it will not be enough, because right now CLB MPD will be owning the waters in the middle with his Galleons, and with the help of his teammate Red, CLB Zion, well, they will be owning the waters on the whole right side of the map, and this will definitely also mean no reinforcements from yellow, because, yep, those Galleons will be just camping around these waters, and that will mean that those boats will so slowly but surely go down into the depths of the blue waters. Well, of course, Marco doesn't have any kind of chance against all his army, because he doesn't have enough units for that, but with the help of his teammate Reed, they just might be having enough. This is not really bad armada at all. This might be really quite alright to deal with the red player, but in the meantime Red is of course going to be dealing with the dogs and potentially with the reinforcements, so they need to play it correctly and need much better team communication than they did have just a moment ago. You know, having a bit of fun around the islands, probably going to be hoping to join with the players at the top once they are engaging in there as well, as they are slowly inching in. But Imperial Age is coming for Zion, and there's going to be a lot of Imperial Ages for CLBs, but just one for Sobek. Sobek is of course basically going to be out of any reinforcements, which will allow Gamin to even retake the water for himself, as of course he's having basically free time to re-establish himself on the seas and push the yellow player from his waters. Upgrades like cartography, two-man saw coming in with Karinin as well, of course from Zion, as he's in the Imperial Age, and well, looking at it right now, Red is already paying enough attention, and this small raiding party is going to be repelled even before it is actually joining into a big fight that is going to be happening right now in the middle. And even though Red is going to be probably retreating because this is a pretty huge army for him to be handling alone, he will have reinforcements soon from the purple player because of course he is doing a pretty good job against yellow. And maybe he won't even need it all that much, because of course he is the Imperial, and his galleons are going to be kinda similar to galleons of his opponent apparently. Sobek is going for galleons as well, and for chemistry. But yeah, he seems to be interested in this corner of the map. So far, having at least a few boats in here, retreated from the fight against Gamin, as Gamin is right now having a pretty good spot in this game, as he's re-establishing himself, going for a monastery, probably hoping that he can advance it through Imperial Age sometime soon, get the relic inside his home base, rather home island, and then somehow do something against his opponent. Okay, that seems like basically the last chance battle for Sobek, but it's not gonna go well for him, because of course his opponent MPD is already upgraded into a +4 and a +1 armor, whereas his opponent is just a +2 and just 8, so that's just a huge difference in there in the damage output and receival. So MPD is just going to be owning this battle, and of course that means that he's going to be buying a lot of time for Zion to be getting into similar situation. He's even better, 8+3, and he is going to be yet again aiming into backwaters and to get rid of the opponent's economy and of any possible reinforcements that they might be having. And at the same time, of course, trying to also corral the army of the teal player at the top, which just not really the same number of units, but it seems to be enough, especially since he's sending all the reinforcements and newly built boats to help. And Marco absolutely correct that he does need help. Still though, Sobek is having at least a few units at the back, doing a bit of fun, killing the scout probably. Oh no, not scout, it's actually Monk, and we are seeing the first GGs coming in, as they are recognizing the NHNs that this game is not gonna go their way, and the first match is going to be going into a tie, 1-1, and well, CLB is definitely confirmed their skill from the first game, and this time they were able to close the game to their liking, and it is a victory for them on their home map. So each clan taking the home map home, and oh well, that was a very good match, very good match. Both the maps on the Arabia and the islands definitely showed us a lot of different gameplay, and well, not even Sobek's very good performance against Gamin and then pushing into the pocket was enough. As on the right, unfortunately, it seems like also thanks to a bit of a miscommunication in a very crucial battle that cost a lot of boats to the blue player. Well, CLB just played the water better. Better advances, better pocket play, I think. It really seemed that way, and it yielded the victory for them. So let's see how the achievements are gonna go for this game. MPD, yet again, I have to agree, he played superbly. He really was the MVP in both games, but Sobek was quite on par with him. So both MPD and Sobek were basically the best players of this game. Well, nothing interesting somewhere else. Probably not all that much. You'll be seeing Pretty much the same standard. Not much of a sling in, just a bit of a tribute sent by the MPD to his teammates so that he helps them probably to advance into the next ages, as his economy was just... you can see that that's just a beast of an economy and so much better than the opponents. He's having 3,000 more food than the next one. 5,000 more wood, so that's 8,000. 2,000 more gold, so that's 10,000 more resources than the next best opponent. And even ally. That that kind of explains how he was able to basically dominate the waters just like that. Oh well. Well played. Well played indeed. Alright, GG.